So going
Thanks for
live.
being here, though. Thank you for being here
Ah,
on our little venture.
yes, glad to be here.
Here we go. So for everybody who's just tuning in, we're getting a little last-minute start here. So we start.
We've never started on time. You do realize that. This is nothing
started
new.
on time once before. Come on.
Nothing new. There was
We're really prompt. We're really prompt.
Yes.
They call us Johnny on the spot. That's our nickname.
There was that one time we started on time, but we thought it was later than it was.
Fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
You're the main event. Lisa.
You're the main, exactly. No pressure. No pressure.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
And as we always say, never. We're never ready for this.
We're always ready.
For
We're
this.
always ready.
Yeah. So first of all, we've got Lisa. Hello. I'm going to bring you up on the screen there. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for fighting your way through this. This is Lisa's first time doing the live show, the live video, and were you on Skype first?
I was on the wrong thing there, so I'm like, oh, I think something's wrong here. So.
Yeah, that's all right. I should have been more clear and said it was like we feed through the Google Plus, and then so many people are used to Skype.
Yeah.
But
she was going to be on a different show tonight.
Yeah, and that is my daughter, Crystal.
Hello.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Crystal is.
I'm all the way out in Hawaii.
Oh, I want to be there. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah.
And
I'm a great lover of nepotism, so that's why I'm on the show.
Yeah, wait a minute. I got to look that word up. I don't
Oh,
even
that's
know.
right. I have to explain that to you. It means when you do your family favors.
Oh, yeah. And Brett from the armpit of Oregon, which we also call Salem, our capital.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Avoid the area.
And so, Lisa, you are from Arizona?
Yes, from Arizona. Yeah, well, originally Texas, but now I'm in Arizona officially, I guess.
What part of Arizona? I need to know.
The Phoenix area.
I love it. Gilbert, Chandler, East Valley. Where you at? Peoria.
Surprise.
Approximately.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't want everybody to know
wants it to
exactly
be a
where she
surprise.
is. Brett,
Fair
you
enough.
stalker.
A surprise.
That's enough.
No, I'm just asking because I know the area well. I love Phoenix.
Actually, I was in Surprise last year, the year before, for spring training. I've gone to spring training a couple years in a row.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Phoenix in spring, man? It's one of the greatest places ever.
You've got 2 or 3 ex-wives who live there, don't you?
No, I didn't know. Just the one. Just the one.
Brett doesn't have any ex-wives.
Yeah, I don't know. So, Lisa, we are so glad to have you on the show, and I wanted to start out really by just asking, like, how you got started. What did you do? Because looking at, okay, first of all, you're with Before It's News.
Yeah.
And you write a crap load of stories on there. You have your own lisahavennews.net.
Yeah.
And the YouTube videos are insane with the amount of views that you get.
And information that you give. It's just,
yeah.
It's awesome.
Like my daughter today, she's been telling me for how long now about this, what's the guy's name, Pope?
Forever. Perry Stone. I've been trying to tell my dad, Jimbo Slice over there, about Perry Stone. I'm like, you got to watch this guy's, The Manifest. Like, I've been watching him for years already, and I'm always telling him about him. And then all of a sudden today, or the other day when I saw you post about him, I was like, now that Lisa Haven promotes him, will you please listen? Now will you believe me? Because he's great.
Stuff I have to say. I like he's been like his prophecies and things that he talks about. They usually come to fruition. I'm like, wow, he's got some pretty good stuff. So I follow
the blood moons.
Yep.
Yeah. I know. I love him. Yeah, he's good.
Me too.
All right.
So now my
how
dad
did you
will
get,
believe me.
I watched him today. I did. He was doing something from Israel. It was cool. So Lisa, how did you tell us? How did you start? What got you into this? What got you?
Well, growing up, my father was really into this kind of stuff, so I kind of grew up with some of it, and I've really expanded on what he's done. But I used to have a blog a long time ago, 10 years ago. I've always kind of had my own website, and I would post news and write news on that, just doing it on my own because it's something I enjoy to do. And then as it progressed, I met up, I don't know if you've heard of Lynn Lee's, but I met her, and we started doing a website together and writing on this website, and then got invited. She got invited to write for Before It's News and brought me in on. So I started writing for them, and when I started with them a few years ago, I thought, well, I should start my own YouTube channel and make it official, and it just kind of springboarded from there. And so I started the YouTube channel and Before It's News, and now I think I've been on YouTube maybe officially, posting videos and stuff for like a year and a half there, and about 2 years on Before It's News, and so it just kind of took off, and I've always kept like documents and things, and so I've always kept up with the latest on the news and reports and whatnot. Anyway, so that's kind of in a nutshell, the quick version, I would say, of why or how I got started.
So you started blogging, and then you decided, I'm going to turn the camera on myself because I'm so ticked off right now that I got something to say, and you wanted it out there. Is that what happened?
Absolutely, I'll take it. Yes. Yeah. No, it's some of it's easier to explain, because online on with the camera you can actually show. Let me take you to this document and show you the verbiage for yourself. Like you can actually share it, when writing and link it. But it's so much easier, if via video you can say, look, see for yourself, and I'll also have the document attached or whatever it is I'm referencing. So I just found it easier, for more solid evidence, so to speak, of, certain events or things that are happening across the globe, really.
Plus, face-to-face news is so effective. It's more effective to be face-to-face like this because you can see the emotion in your eyes and your expression of, like, this is for real, you guys. Pay attention, rather than just writing. You can't feel it as much,
Absolutely.
Well, she has on her page too, my favorite, and you guys know this is because you know me and she doesn't.
Oh
but
my God!
Conspiracy fact. I have looked at that. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you right now.
Lisa, we used to run a segment where we would actually have Brett come on with a tinfoil hat. And his little eyeballs go on the screen, and
literally
helicopters playing in the background, and because we're not going to get into 9/11 and all that stuff, but
what? Wait a minute! I thought you told me. Never mind.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just so to dive right in right now. Where are you at with the shooters? I'm curious, because everyone's coming out, and I even said earlier today, because I'd been watching this stuff, like, hey, wait a minute. Let's go back for 2 seconds. As it happened, there were 3 shooters. And
that was my question from the beginning. I didn't forget about that. Like, no. What is your take on this?
Obviously, there's the silencing in the mainstream media, because there were 3 originally, and now it's just the husband and wife, the couple, the Muslim couple, and they are, adamant about covering things up, covering certain details and aspects. So there's definitely, I think there's a huge false flag in play here, considering they had multiple drill after drill after drill, and just one going on at that same time. I believe they even had a drill then.
Yep.
And so I think, adding up the details, 3 and then 2, and just the way that it's all played out, it absolutely screams, I think, a false flag and definitely cover up. So, there's not much information on that third person because they're attempting to suppress it as much as possible. But as far as I can tell, it's just false flag written all over it.
Well, you remember Timothy McVeigh, or is that his name, right? Timothy McVeigh?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. When that first came out, there was clearly, quote, John Doe, who was a Arabic-looking person, blah, 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 in the van. And then all of a sudden, about a couple hours later, that disappeared. There's no more John Doe, even though everybody was talking about there was a John Doe that was with them, a Muslim-looking guy. And all of a sudden, it's like...
They were surrounding homes and making... Like, I was watching live surrounding the neighborhood and blocking things off and like, oh, maybe they found him in this house barricaded, like all kinds of different stories, and then all of a sudden it just poof, it's gone. There's no third person. Like, what?
Well, you know, I look at situations like this, and you know, I heard about the third person, and we're hearing some of the stories coming out from some of the eyewitnesses that are saying that they were three athletic white men in tactical gear that actually performed this act.
Watch them drive away.
Now we're hearing about this cleverly packaged version of everything that America is focused on, and that is what it's a husband, it's a wife, she came in illegally. I mean, it's so neat, it's so tidy. There's a bow on top of this, for God's sakes. And if you go all the way back in time, and this is maybe a bad analogy, but you look at like Roswell, and we're not going to talk about that, but I'm just saying, hold on. I'm just saying, the news reports that came out, like, immediately said it was a crash UFO, but then the next day we were told it was just a weather balloon, nothing to see here.
And yet, 50 years later, you're not allowed to get anywhere within 10 miles of it.
All I'm saying is our government has been perfecting this media-based presentation of, quote-unquote, what the truth is.
So, Lisa, last week, Brett used an interesting word when we were talking about some stuff, and he used the word for bin Laden as one of the characters. Like, he was one of the characters in the story. And so then his part ended, and another character comes like a lot of that. What's your thoughts on all that stuff? I mean, where do you, because you get a lot of cutting-edge thought process, and you also take things biblically, from a biblical standpoint, like, hey, a lot of this stuff you can match up. You can match up the Bible, you can match up the newspapers, and the Book of Daniel said clearly, hey, this stuff is going to be hidden away until the end, and then it'll start to be revealed. Well, a lot of stuff, if you have the Holy Spirit and you're kind of tuned in, it's kind of can get revealed if you
coming to light right now.
Where are you at with all that?
Oh, 100%. Like with what you said, I mean, if we take, and that's what I love to do with the news is I'll look at the news and I'll say, okay, you know, here's what the Bible says about what's going to happen in the future, and this is what's playing out in our world and in our day and age, and we should see an increase of all these things. But some of the biggest things to me is the Bible talks about, like in the book of Revelation, that in the latter times that the waters will turn to blood, like during the tribulation period, which we're not technically in yet, but we already see that happening with, you know, we have algae blooms and lakes and rivers, parts of them, and they've gone from China to here in America, from all over, and I just take that, wow, there's a precursor to the main event, so to speak, but that's something that we really didn't witness so much in bulk before, but we are now. Other things is John L. Casey, he was an advisor to the president years ago, and he wrote this report on solar hibernation and talked about how in the latter days, or I'm not in the latter days, but towards the end of this solar hibernation, which we're in this solar hibernation cycle, that we would have a major uptick, and he even said catastrophic uptick, and he said from now, I believe, all the way till about 2030, they would start now to 2030, and so we would have this increase in earthquakes, and then I look at what the Bible says, and it says there's going to be an increase in earthquakes, volcanic activity, and you know, just all these extreme things, and so it lines up in that manner, and wars, that's another one, wars and rumors of wars, and we have Russia rising, and then we have the Middle East constant conflict with Israel and Palestine and everything that's happening in the Middle East. All that stuff was spoken of in the Bible as well, and it was very clear, you know, that Jerusalem would be a burdensome stone, and that's something else that we see. So it ranges, and And 100% you can see it just playing out in the news, from everything from demoralization to, straight up, technology and the increase in that as well. So that's, definitely.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't actually realize that because I have the geological, whatever it's called, the app on my phone about the earthquakes.
Yeah.
Daily earthquakes. If you look at the Ring of Fire, it's blowing up. Every day there's earthquakes, huge earthquakes. People just don't know about it because they don't pay attention. It's not like all of a sudden one happens, in Chile or wherever, and then everyone's like, oh, there's a big earthquake, oh my God. But they're happening every day all over, more and more.
Well, and there's been earthquakes that people don't even realize, but there's earthquakes
they don't know
all the freaking time over there on Kona, on the Big Island.
Well, here on this island that I'm at, we have like 13 a day. But they're not right here where I live or where everybody lives. They're by the active volcanoes, so people don't realize it. But it's every day, tons. Things are changing. Things are happening.
Oh, wait till Yellowstone takes off.
Yeah.
not excited about that one.
No.
Hopefully you guys aren't in the zone. Are you in the zone there, or where are you guys at?
Maybe. There's a good chance, yeah.
Well,
they're in San Andreas fault line. They're falling into the ocean.
Oh, that's right. We're going to break off and float away.
No,
hey,
but you know what? Somebody
Jim,
just did a story here a couple months ago about the big fault that's going through Washington and Oregon and all that, right off our coast. And my son-in-law, his uncle, his dad's brother, he's the head engineer of the department in Oregon State University for the tsunamis. And he says 100% for sure we got massive earthquake going to hit the Portland area, Seattle area in the next 10 years or sooner.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember when they did that on Fox.
Yeah, exactly. They were running all that. That's where me and Brett are.
You staying up there?
Me and Brett might want some beachfront property, and we might head up to Surprise.
You might. Well, that's kind of a little low area. You might want a little bit of a mountain.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm thinking more Apache Junction out there.
Oh,
head up that way. It's higher up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're having some
Flagstaff.
echo. We're having some major echo.
Yeah, there is some echo going on.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is that from my end? I forgot to plug in my headset, actually. I was going to do that.
If you've got them, it would help.
Okay, hold on.
But it wasn't doing it earlier. Just is
now.
Well,
I think that somebody might have their the Google Plus page where it's not muted, and that might be it.
Oh, it's Crystal. It's got to be Crystal. I'm blaming her.
Blame it on me, B.
I always blame the kid. That's right. Absolutely correct.
Hey, you can call me the kid all day. Thank you.
Let's throw that in
fact,
there.
I love it.
Oh, you kids in your 30s. I remember back when I was young.
Actually, all of you guys are almost young enough to be my kid.
Oh, that's just disturbing. That's weird, actually. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, well, you're halfway, but I mean, Lisa and Crystal could both be my kid. Oh, wait, one of them is.
So Lisa, I want to ask you.
Fix it, by the way? Hopefully it went away. Is it still
better.
there?
Well, by the way, whenever we have an issue like this, it's not you, it's not Crystal, it's not me, it's something on Jim's end.
It's Jim. It's Jimbo.
It may or may not be coming through on the actual broadcast. We don't know until afterwards, and then we get the comments about it.
Fine.
No, it sounds great.
Professional production. We only do top notch, you know.
Lisa, this is why nobody else is doing live
with us,
on Facebook.
It's all good. It's better kickback, in my opinion. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is laid back. Everyone grab a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
A glass of wine, in Brett's case, Jesus juice, Jim Beam, whatever else he's going to have. We're working with him.
Hey, I'm a baptized Christian, and I don't mind saying that I do enjoy a glass of wine.
So Lisa, what else? What are your plans? What else you got going on? What's your future look like with what you're doing, and what's your goals with it, and
What's
what
mission?
you know?
Mission is the word I wanted to ask. What's your mission?
What's your mission statement?
Oh, as I don't know, going with the flow. No, I just plan on reporting more and growing that way and really trying to get the truth out as much as possible. I know Facebook is been a real issue for me. They keep suppressing, and I'm on another Facebook jail at this moment. I'm back in jail. Or Facebook spanking, whatever you want to call it. But
I like that. That is perfect. Let me ask you this real quick. How often does that happen to you? And I've talked to both the Jim and Crystal too. We have another contributor, Sierra, and she's on the show from time to time. She is getting shut down left and right just from other people whining about her posts.
Well,
What are you seeing?
Amy
What are you
was on
seeing?
it.
Well,
Amy was on one too. You're right. Amy was on one.
let me see. In the past 2 months, I've been on it 3 times recently.
4?
That's nuts.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so it was 2 weeks I got banned, and then I was on a week, and then they kicked me off again. And right now I'm in, until the 15th. I can't.
Purgatory.
You're in
I
trouble
know,
until the
but they
15th.
never tell me why. They're like, okay, we're just going to ban you. And I'm like, okay, can you tell me why? And never. I don't get an email. I don't get a response. They don't tell me. They just do it. And I'm like, they're just mad because a couple, due to the first one, I put a report out about Facebook censorship. It went pretty viral.
Yeah.
It got, didn't it get like
they pissed me
100,000?
off.
Didn't it get like 100,000 or 200,000 views?
Oh yeah, on different outlets and stuff, and so I think they were upset about that, and so they banned me again. So,
In my opinion, they should be paying you for that publicity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, any publicity is good publicity,
So Lisa, what's this other social network you were pushing the other day because of that?
Yeah.
oh yeah, Scene.life. It's Before It's News. It's the guy who runs Before It's News actually created this, so it's brand new site, and I'm fairly new to it too, so I'm still kind of learning the ropes, but at least I know they're not going to censor. You're not going to be cut off for speaking truth. So that's kind of the nice thing about Scene.life is you don't have all these stipulations like Facebook does, and they're very good about privacy and whatnot. So I'm on that as well, and the only reason I'm still on Facebook is simply to get the truth out. Yeah, and to share it. But
here's what I was thinking about this when I'm getting that feedback, but that's all right. 2 of me is better.
It
no.
sounds like we're in a concert.
Yeah,
Right? It's like
yeah.
I think I turned off all the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's your
Lisa,
fault.
it's not
fine.
you. It is not you. Trust me.
Trust
Okay.
me, it's
Jim.
me. It's me.
Jimbo.
Hey, so here's what I was thinking. Okay, so a lot of people complain about, okay, Facebook sucks, Facebook this and that, where they keep doing this, and yes, they do. Okay, it's a struggle and it's a fight. But if everybody left and went to a site that they agreed with, isn't it kind of like preaching to the choir? If you're only talking to the people that agree with you.
Right.
It is. That's why when things go viral, it does a little better because I know there's new people that will comment on the feed and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that about Facebook. Or, when friends tell friends, and it's really like, wow, okay, well, we're waking some people up. And I know that the message is actually getting to other people as well, which is kind of nice. So it's good, because, in all of us, we're on it to share truth, obviously, but I think slowly but surely there are people that are switching over. There are people that are waking up. So that's the good side of it.
You have to look at Facebook in this sense. It's a privately held company. Well, I'm sorry, it's a publicly held company at this point. However, it has its own rules and its own jurisdiction. So if you think about Facebook, listen, we cannot fight them, Mr. Zuckerberg. We cannot fight you on what you choose to shut down and what you choose to turn off. I would love you to come on this show. It's an invite. Hey, come on and tell us why you do what you do and why you censor people the way you do. Listen, Facebook has become, in my opinion, a public utility. It is no different than electricity or phone service. We have government officials. We have our president on Facebook. This is no longer what it was when it started in a college dorm with a couple of guys smoking pot. This has become something else. And the fact that they are now using this as a tool to censor people from their opinion, and trust me, I don't want hate on here. I don't want threats. If I want to kill Muslim, no, that's not acceptable. But they're using this as a voice and a control method that I don't agree with.
Right.
How do you shut down a page of somebody that don't like what's going on? And here's why.
Right.
And they're doing it. We have, in our experience, I know Jim and myself, I have 3 or 4 people, and now you, Lisa, tonight, we're talking to people who are getting shut down more
regularly.
And more.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me.
And they've upped it recently. Like in the past years, I would like 6 months. It's been maybe 4 or 5 months, I would say, since I've been banned the last time. And then before that, it was like once every 6 months. And now 3 times in a month, I'm like,
that's crazy.
Really upped it. They've upped it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've talked to other people who write for Before It's News. Dave Hodges was banned. My friend High Impact Flicks was banned. A couple of us writers from Before It's News, all within the same month. And I'm thinking, wow, they're just upping it right now. So
of course they are.
You guys aren't on the no-fly list. You're on the no-post list.
Right.
The no
Not allowed
post
to
list.
post
That's
on
right.
Facebook.
Well, let me ask you this. Does that not scream government intervention and censorship?
Oh, yeah.
What does Mark Zuckerberg, with his billions of dollars, even though he's giving away 99% of all of his stock and all that goodwill he's given, what does he care what I put on Facebook? He shouldn't. He can put up his opinion, which he did recently. There's been a couple of things I've seen on Facebook about his thoughts on what's going on in the world. What does he care? You created a site where everybody has a voice and you're censoring it? I don't get it. And unless it's directly harmful to other people in violent ways.
Right.
I just don't get it.
Well, people post porn and stuff on there. You know what I mean? But like, you can't post things that are actual current events, truth things going on in today's world. Because we know, I see your post, Brett. It's really inappropriate.
Oh, well.
Kidding.
Anyway.
But seriously.
Wait, we've got a question. There is somebody on Lisa's page that said, I was watching Total Man Ministries this past Sunday. Bishop Nathaniel W. Wells, Jr. literally said that Obama is the Antichrist. It was the first time I've heard a pastor say it. Reaction.
Say it again. Who?
He said, I was watching Total Man Ministries this last Sunday. And there was a pastor on there who said that Obama was the Antichrist.
Okay.
He said that's the first time that he's actually heard a pastor say that.
There is a lot of people who are saying that Obama could be the Antichrist, or I personally don't think he is. But I don't put my cards on anyone because there's just we're just going to let it play out as it plays out. So, but I don't think he meets all the qualifications either, according to the Bible, some of the things that we see in there. But there are people that are coming out saying, he's the Antichrist. He's definitely a type of Antichrist, a character. He's the devil, in my opinion, devil, as far as his mentality.
Dictator.
He's possessed. Yeah. But Antichrist, I'll leave that for time to tell, but, we just never know for sure either. But not my personal take, but who knows? I could be wrong. Yes.
Right.
He could be the false prophet eventually. Or that could be the Pope, actually.
That could be. There's a lot on the Pope as well, yeah.
I mean, I've been predicting for a long time now that, and I'm not saying that this is bad. I mean, it's not good, but I have believed almost since day one, and I've been saying it, that I believe within the last 12 months of Obama's presidency, he will say that he is now converting to, quote, his father's religion of Islam. And the specific reason behind why I think that why he's going to do that, why it's important for him to do that, is because since 1948, every president has wanted to help sign a peace treaty between Palestine, the Palestinians, Israel, and that whole thing. And they've all failed, no matter what they've tried to do. I mean, even to the point where the Palestinians got 97% of everything they wanted, and it still didn't go through. Well, why? The bottom line is because that was an infidel in Jimmy Carter back then, and everybody who has negotiated. For the first time in the history of our country, we've actually had somebody with the lineage and the heritage and the ability to possibly be a Muslim. His father was, so
Possibly.
once he does convert, he will then be a credible negotiating partner and somebody who legitimately would be taken seriously by that side of the world as somebody who they can, quote, trust to sign the negotiation and help represent them.
By the way, you keep using the word convert. I think you should change that to when he comes out.
Publicly,
Yes.
comes out.
And by the way, if you look at the pictures, look up the one finger and look up the ISIS folks doing the one finger and the Muslims doing the one finger, and Obama every time he's with his buddies does the one finger, which means the one God, Allah. And look it up. If you don't believe me, do your own research, but I've got an opinion on that. I'm going to leave it alone for now.
Well, I will say this. I'll say 100% he's a Muslim. He may
Absolutely.
not come out of the closet until later, but most of us know, so to speak. But
Yeah.
I will say this. I have friends who actually have relatives in Azerbaijan over in the Middle East, and when she goes and visits them, she always gives me like a rundown, but they always say, you know, not all of them believe this, but the majority of the people, at least in her area, are saying, oh yeah, they already know Obama is a Muslim. They're like, Obama Muslim, yep, Obama Muslim. So that's an accepted, at least in that territory, not all. So anytime she comes back, I'm like, okay, fill me in.
Spill it.
Yeah, but it's crazy, and many of them see it. Many of them are aware and already know. It's just a lot of Americans are asleep on it. But
Yep.
Well, you know, I've got some customers that are from Syria, and about 2 years ago, one of their nieces had come to visit. She's mid-30s. She's a school teacher. She was sitting there and very attractive, made up, the whole thing, and I'm like, and she was heading back to Syria the next week, and I'm like, well, aren't you afraid to go back? This was before we heard of ISIS, but there was all of the fighting going on, and she goes, no, why would I be afraid? And she says, what's going on is, she goes, the people of Syria love Assad. She said, what's going on is the people who are shooting at everybody are Muslim terrorists, and they're Muslim snipers who are trying to create problems because the city of Homs is Muslim, and that's where the problems generated. So it was the Muslims who were trying to take over all of that, and those are the ones that John McCain and everybody was supporting.
yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows? What else is on your agenda? What else is on your hot button for this year?
Well, a lot of it was the Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development meeting that took place in September when the Pope came here and paraded like he was God. I don't know if you guys did you guys see the what was it when they did the Ground Zero ceremony? Did you guys get to watch that at all?
I did not, but
oh, you guys have to watch it. It was I wanted to just barf, but I did a report on it a while back, and he had like every religious group represented behind him. So you had your Sikh and your and your Muslim, and then you had Buddhist, and they were all dressed in these garbs, and then in the center you have the Pope all high and mighty in his white garb, and all of these.
God.
It was gross. It was sick. I'm like, did I just witness some kind of cult ceremony? But they each got up and sang their song and chanted, and I'm like, okay. And then here comes the Pope finally, last but least, and he gives his little chanty message, and I'm thinking that was like sick. That was just crazy.
Well,
I'm like, rise of the one world religion. There it is,
Right.
you know. And
Wasn't it amazing how the Pope, out of all the things he talked about while he was here and when he went to the United Nations, there was only one topic he didn't touch, and that was murder of Christians?
oh yeah,
He left that alone.
he did, but he talked a lot about the refugees, the Syrian refugees, and immigrants coming over and taking down borders and putting in a world government.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just really been keeping an eye on that and what's going on in Paris over there as well. That ends on the 11th. In just a couple days, I'll hopefully do a review on that. But
That summit is still going on.
it is.
I have to ask, and I was thinking about this earlier tonight before we came on the air, and the question I wanted to ask you was, what color is your handbasket? Because it seems like this whole thing that we're trying to defend and we're trying to protect, this ideology that we define as American and Christian, where do we go? How do we defend ourselves against this without seeming hateful? Where do you see us taking this fight, and how do we do it?
Like the fight of Christianity, or what? Maybe reword that.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the situation you just described, where the Pope he came out and he was like the encore or whatever to this stage scene.
Uh-huh.
How do we fight that? How do we go against that? How do we make our voices heard without being shut down by social media, without being shut down as haters, without being... It's a bigger question, and it might not be able to answer it. I mean, none of us might be able to.
I think there is. You know, obviously, as a Christian, one of those answers I'm going to throw out there for sure is through prayer. You know, prayer does accomplish a lot, you know, from, you know, my perspective and what's been going on in my life, but I don't think it ends there. I think we really need to, you know, do what we're doing, make our voices heard, and even Hillary, Killery, she's got a million names.
Hillary.
I like Hillary.
Awesome.
Hillary. But she was, what did she say? She said they're losing the information war, and so that's encouraging, at least to me. And I think that is why all of a sudden Facebook has upped their targets, Google has upped their targets, where they won't allow certain things to go up the news feed, which a few other reporters I know have encountered. But I think, you know, even if there are loopholes, like I said, unseen.life, that's a new one. If we can, you know, get people to migrate over before everything goes crazy, or, you know, all these different things. But I think that's a start of the beginning of the end of what we're going to see. And I think that's, you know, that's the start of it. If they come after our guns, now that's another story.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but then they've technically brought the fight to us. It's not something we went looking for, and I don't think we should go look for it. But if it comes to us, you know, that's the story.
Hillary said something that was a lot of people missed. Brett, I was blaming that second computer problem on you with the echo, and it's, if you only have one on, then it's not you.
I've got nothing else going. Sorry.
It's got to be me. It's always me. So one of the things that Hillary said, there was, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, she was in the back of an auditorium that she was talking, and the only Black Lives Matter people confronted her, and she wanted to talk to them. And they had it on the news and whatnot, and they confronted her. And I remember her specifically saying to them, we cannot change hearts and minds. We have to change laws that people can follow to not discriminate. And that really resonated with me, and I thought to myself, no, that's the problem. We need to change hearts and minds in order to cause change and real effect. It's like that old thing. We don't have a gun problem, we have a heart problem. And through prayer, like you said something on your predictions that you predict that maybe more people would fall away from Christianity as more Muslims rise. But something in my spirit and soul has been telling me, and maybe I'm wrong, it's probably just a burrito or a pizza, but gurgling in me, something in my gut's just been telling me about revival. And I keep feeling revival is coming, because that's, I don't know. Maybe
well, that was on number 18 on my list. So
Right.
there was either we're going to stay stagnant, we're going to decrease, and so there's probably a little more to the story than what I shared on that. But number 18 was either America's going to have a revival, as my predictions, or we're going to, be apathetic, way more apathetic than we are. And so those were two things that I personally see. And, I think in order, to be honest, for us to survive here in America, we're going to need another spiritual revival. That's really what we need. We need a revival. We need a spiritual revival. We need a wake-up call. And unfortunately, I was actually asked the other day, what do you think it'll take to get to revival here in America? Which would kind of explain my earlier prediction and that is hardship, persecution.
Yeah.
And I think if we look through history in the past, that's exactly what it took each and every single time. And so what we could see in the beginning is maybe, I know Islam is going to increase, but we could see Christians falling away, through the persecution. Then we can also see a great revival of people coming to the Lord. So it's kind of that two-found where people are waking up and people are really not these lukewarm types anymore, but really on fire for God. So,
are you willing to say what type of church you go to?
Yeah, I just go to a non-denominational Christian church. It's I like it. My pastor actually shared. I want to bring my pastor on once, but he talks about what's happening in the news, and I'm like, score! I've never heard any pastor do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Which,
now
by the way,
that you're always welcome to come on, and you're always welcome to bring him on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
would love it.
Yeah.
I
Love
should.
it.
I got into a conversation. We're talking about what's coming and what's going to be in front of us as Christians and people who are going to stand by the faith. And there will be those that walk away. There will be those that hide it. There will be those that deny knowing what they believe. And I just keep thinking that we're coming closer to a point in time where we are going to have to either stand up and fight, or we are going to have to accept the fact that we're going to see God before we intended to see Him.
Right.
And
individually.
I got into a back and forth between somebody who's very much a Christian, very much a believer, and her stance was love and refugees, and let's just lay down our arms and let's accept these people, let's accept everyone. Let's just, if I die because of my decisions, my convictions will carry me before the Lord, and I will be a winner in the end. And I said, you know what? And it occurred to me. There's some of us that have been chosen to fight. There's some of us that have been chosen to die, and we're both right. And I look at this whole situation, what's in front of us right now, is as Christians in this country and across the world, and even non-Christians who just kind of get it, people who are just like, we should be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the time has come. You got to pick a side, and I hate to say it that way.
I feel
But
like
it's true.
for me, I think it's scarier. I think it's more scary to live all of eternity forever and ever in hell than it is to deny my God in front of anybody. I think right now, here and now, it's time to stand up and fight. Hey, exactly, pick a side, because there's no more lukewarm. You either confess Jesus as your Lord and Savior, or you don't. And if you don't, be prepared, I mean, I am more scared of living all of eternity. I want to go to heaven, and I'll never deny my God in front of anybody for any reason, But that doesn't mean I'm not going to load my house with arms and make sure I'm protecting my family.
Now, if I want to think about
stupid.
this for a while, can I Just kidding.
Well,
I'm the dad. Just kidding.
Well, you'll be
teasing.
saved one day.
It's a very interesting time and place that we are in. And I by the way, we say that, and all of us sitting here are somewhere between less than 60 years of age, all the way down to early 30s.
Like way less, like way less.
Oh, you're like
Okay.
You're 18. I know.
I'll take
You're
that
18.
too. I'll take that.
Me
18.
too.
20 is great.
20s. You're in your 20s. Whatever. I get it.
25 for life.
Right.
But we are living in a time where we like to look at the situation that we're in, and we like to say that it's the worst it's ever been. And I'm guaranteeing you, back during World War II, they were saying it was the worst it's ever been. And one thing we need to remember is this whole thing is not going to look like a movie that Hollywood produced. We need to be looking for the clues. We need to be looking for the small things that lead us to the truth. And that's what this is all about. And these conversations, having Lisa on tonight, is sparking this talk that we need to have, not for hate reasons, but for just the opposite. This is very important to what's in our future. And we all need to be prepared to be persecuted. We all need to be prepared. If Muslims stand in your faith,
I don't know about this persecution thing. It's just.
I know. It's a deep topic.
I want to know more from Lisa.
We don't want to talk about that.
So you're talking about stuff. I want to know more from Lisa.
Sure,
so,
absolutely.
What's your main passion right now with what you're doing? Is it what is it?
I would say Bible prophecy is one, and then just the corruption in the government. It's
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, pick a small topic, for God's sakes.
They're very broad. But I mean, I've read so many. I have a whole drawer. That's why I look over here. It's where my drawer is. Of all these documents, and I've read them. I've read, the internment and resettlement. I've read right-wing extremism. I've read Project Megiddo, and Project Megiddo specifically targets Christianity, the views of Christianity, not just Christian identity, which is a whack job supposed Christian group, but all of it together. I've read the civilian inmate labor camp program. I've read, documents that suggest building a new world order and how it'd be better. These are written from top generals. I've read Agenda 21. I've read a lot of this stuff. I don't want to take anyone's word for anything. I want to read it and find it, and that's what my passion is. And then when I read it and I discover, oh goodness, the stuff is in here, I want to say, look what's happening. And it's like, God gave us this country as we the people are in charge, and I take that serious. I'm like, okay, I'm considered, that's the way we were made. We are part of that government branch, and we have something distinct than any other country had. We have the ability to vote. We have the ability to make our voices heard. We have our Constitution and Bill of Rights, at least now. It's kind of going out the door, so to speak, but I still, at least my God-given right is let's wake up and get people before things get, so out of control. And then we just become part of the cycle. So, I always have hope for America and hope for what's ahead. And I also keep Bible prophecy in light, but I don't say, okay, well, I believe we are in the end times, which I do according to Bible prophecy, but I don't say, well, it's the end time, so I'm going to give up, because that's not what God called us to do. We still have to answer to the Lord and say, look, this is what I did. I stood against these atrocities. I did this and this, instead of just letting it slide by, which I think it's very unnerving. When other Christians are like, yeah, just let it happen. It's the end times, and it's just depressing. I'm like, that's not how you view it. What if people 1,000 years ago thought they were living in the end times? And that's what led us to the point that we're already in, and that's what I want to prevent.
Well, what came to me when you were saying that was, look at where we're at right now with this medium. We're sitting here literally talking to people around the planet live. Crystal is 4 hours behind you, 5 or 6 hours behind Amy when she's on from the East Coast, and we're all around, but yet we're talking. So I look at some of the demographics of the show, and I see we've got people who watch from Sweden and all over the world, literally, and yet here we are, able to do this. How many people don't? And so, to your point,
Right.
the Bible says in the story, look, the master gave this person 10 talents, gave this one 2, gave this 1. Some people just kept them in their pocket and did nothing. But what are we doing? What are you doing? You're actually taking that and trying to invest it and doing the work. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I think all of us are called to play some part, and if we're sitting back and letting it burn a hole in our pocket, that's an issue.
I like to say that we were all born, God gave us all a set of dice when we were born, and you're either going to hold on to them or you're going to roll them. And our job is to roll them and do something. Hey, so somebody else commented on your page, and this is actually a really good suggestion. Class action lawsuit against Facebook for blocking your free speech.
I would like that. I think
that's a good idea.
People who have had their free speech blocked.
I would agree that the spirit of the format has been perverted with the blockage of free speech. I mean,
right. People are afraid to write what they want to write now.
Everybody who signed up for this signed up so they could just say what they wanted to say. I've got people that on my personal wall, my personal page, I'll put up a most innocuous, Jim, you know this because I just commented about it, but I'll put up an innocuous picture about exactly, this is what I'm talking about. It's a meme. It's a joke. And I'll get to it. Well, we're offended by that. Are you kidding me?
But here's why this person on Lisa's page that commented on the class action lawsuit for blocking has such a good point for this one reason. You can say, well, first of all, it's a publicly traded company now, so if you buy one share, you own it. But Facebook gives you the ability to block people. It's exactly like
don't friend me. Don't follow me.
It's better than saying, hey, if you don't like it, turn off the TV. No, turn the channel. You can literally turn the channel on Facebook and block somebody who goes, okay, that offends me. You'll never know that they're on Facebook again. But you don't have to block somebody if you're Facebook.
Right.
Do you know how many times I've been watching a presidential address from Obama, and I've sat there with my remote looking for I'm looking for my block button, and I can't block it. I can't block it. I can't say, this guy's lying. He's lying. I need to block this. He can't be on every channel.
Anyways, before we wrap up, because we're into this 1 hour now. Before we go though, Lisa, first of all, thank you so freaking much for jumping in and joining us. It's really been fun. Give us a tidbit or a tad bit for 2016 of what's coming. What are your hopes and dreams for 2016 to be able to say 1 year from now, I was able to accomplish this, or what?
Like my hopes and dreams for America, or just personally on
just
on
personally
what I do?
for what you're trying to do with your.
I want both. Give us both. Then get out of here.
Well, your personal efforts to what you're doing. I mean, you're spending a lot of time and effort and your soul into this. So 1 year from now, do you want to just be 1 year older, or
Younger.
Yeah. When you're younger.
I'm 20, what is it, 25, right, Crystal?
Yeah, we're 25. We are 25.
If there's anybody that could leave you a message at the end of the year and say, you know what, I followed you this year and this is the impact you had on me.
Well, it would be, that people had their eyes opened. Number one, spiritually, and number two, to what's actually happening in the world. Because, I love what I do. I do. I love to research, and it's just my God-given passion. And, if I can open someone's eyes to what's going on and I can use factual evidence to do it, then that's huge to me. And if we can if through my channel, through my YouTube, through Before It's News, through whatever outlet I'm using, if I can use that, you know, say if people share it with maybe somebody who's sleeping, you know, then that's great. That's a blessing to me. So, you know, something that I would personally desire is waking up more people in the new year. That is my biggest and desire and goal. And as far as America, well, I'm always hopeful for a revival, and I'm hopeful for, you know, not so much demoralization of our culture, because it's just sickening and it's really gone down the tubes, and hopefully something will turn up better with the 2016 election. I'm not sure, but I guess
Are you
tell
leaning
on
towards
that, but-
anyone?
Say what?
Are you leaning towards anyone?
It's hard to say, because, you know, what they say and what they become are two different things.
Right.
Right.
So,
But if you had a top 3, who would they be?
Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and no, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Did you see
I'm
that
kidding.
little that
I'm
CJ
kidding.
Peterson?
I should say, oh no, okay, I like, you know, Ted Cruz is good, Ron Paul is good, and Donald Trump.
We love Rand Paul. We were looking at Rand Paul.
You all like
I love his
Follow.
dad. Love his dad. Love his dad.
Yes, yes.
So
Ted Cruz first. He's an
Well,
evangelical.
any order, not necessarily
She
order.
didn't. Yeah, she didn't mean an order. He's like, so first, you said, he'll hold you to it.
okay, well, now we've got her on record, so let's end the show. No, I'm kidding. It's
Yeah. Anyways, Crystal, you got anything more?
Well, wait, who are your top picks? Now that we're gonna ask.
Jimbo.
Hey, let me answer first. I will answer
He's
first.
a Ted Cruz guy.
Right.
My dream would be this: President Ted Cruz with Vice President Trump, and we see, we see
They were on my list.
we see a new evolution in government where the vice president just doesn't disappear for 4 years and fly around giving speeches to special interest groups. The vice president is actually standing next to our president saying, yes, I agree with this. This is a good idea.
Yes.
We like it. We've talked about it. We sat down and said, because do you think Obama is talking to white Joe Biden about any decision he makes? White Christian Joe Biden? Joe
Even on the
Biden.
same.
He has him lining up putts. Come on.
Let me ask you, when is the last time Joe Biden said anything
All right.
other than...
So Donald Trump, in your mind, would be in charge of the economy, and Ted Cruz would be in charge of everything else. All right, Crystal, how about you?
I'm a Trump girl. But anyway, I like Ted Cruz a lot too, but I'm a Trump girl because I'm just tired of all the bullshit, and I just like the straightforwardness. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you're doing. It's freaking awesome and a breath of fresh air to see a young girl speak the truth and just get it out there and be honest. It's so frustrating to not be able to say what you want to say because everybody attacks you, you know?
Right.
So thank you for doing that, and I really appreciate it. It's awesome. So thanks for coming on the show.
And I'm glad you're on here too. It's good to know other women are waking up. You know, I'm
they're
striving
so,
for that.
It's just like there's so few, you know. But I think there's more than we think. They just need to get out there, you know.
And you know what? I want both of you to know that I am all for women being able to vote. And once we get that enacted, I am... What? Is that...
Well, we know our top candidates now. You know, we got Cruz and Trump.
Yep.
Yeah. Should I just come out and say I just want a woman? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh! Hillary it is.
That's not going to win me any brownie points.
No, I guess not. All right. Well, what a fun ending to the show.
Yes.
Lisa,
thank you so much.
Holy cow, thank you.
So what we're going to do, the way we take out the show is...
the lights.
Wait, before we go, there's another comment on here. Let me see if I can get to it really quick.
9:05, time-wise.
I'm not able to pull it up. So here's how we try to take out the show if I can do this right.
We say aloha.
Well, that's what you
Aloha. Well, we just say get
Anytime
off.
you're in paradise, let me know.
do. We always go out with a little bit of Willie.
Good thing
And I forgot to tell you, but everybody has to sing.
It's right up.
All right,
By
we
the way, hey, I want to say one last thing.
We don't know the words to this. This is way
Don't
before our time.
Don't ever forget, the greatest gift ever given in the Bible was the gift of wisdom. Ask for it every day.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna end the bot. Don't you guys go anywhere. But we'll all say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you for being